All right, prepare yourselves, everyone, because in this video, I'm going to be wearing this cowboy hat. Howdy, y'all. Techie 101 here. Fastest gun in the West, I reckon. Okay, yeah, no, this isn't working out. I don't know what I was thinking with that. I don't know where the idea was going. It's not like Kizaru is a sheriff or something, so you could say my decision to wear that cowboy hat was unclear. Do you get it? Do you get it? Some people haven't gotten it yet. Just give them like 5 seconds and then it'll click that like, okay, there it is. There it is. Now you get it. Wait a minute. I get it. Kizaru subscribes to Unclear Justice. So yeah, there it is. It also, has anybody watched Undead Unluck? The anime is going on right now. It's really good, by the way. Kind of sounds like an ability you would see in Undead Unluck as well, like unclear. Well, it's unclear in the Japanese. In the English dub, it's uncertain justice that Kizaru subscribes to. So I could see both of those as abilities, like an ability in Undead Unluck, like uncertainty, so you can never make up your mind. It's kind of like Shen's ability, but like it's just like, I will leave now. And wait a minute, will I leave now? I don't know if I'll leave now. You know, I don't think that's an ability in there, but there's options. There's options for the future. Okay, but anyway, yes. Today is the Kizaru video that I was originally not going to do. Because I was thinking Kizaru when he was knocked down by Luffy and he was kind of recovering from that. I was thinking, all right, he has a decision to make. After he's got his senses about him, after he can stand up again after the Star Gun attack, is he going to side with Vegapunk and the Straw Hats, or is he going to side with Saturn? All right, and this is going to be a big deal for Kizaru because whoever he sides with is a major boon for that side, okay? This is not a trivial thing, like, oh, it doesn't matter if Kizaru helps out Vegapunk, they're still not going to make it out of here. No, if Vegapunk was assisted by Kizaru, they could definitely have a huge advantage in escaping Egghead, okay? I don't know about defeating Saturn, because Saturn is like, whoa! But, you know, like, they would be able to maybe get away, right? Okay, so in the last chapter, chapter 1104, spoilers, we have Kizaru getting back up and seemingly make his decision. And when I did the review, I was even like, okay, look, he got back up, he immediately attacked Frankie, and then he was standing in front of Saturn declaring that, you know, there's too many pieces on the game board, Saturn. I think it's about time we wrap this up. And then Saturn declares, the Buster Call! And by the way, side note with that, a lot of people, I did not even realize this, but a lot of people were quick to mention, this is now the third Buster Call that Robin has been the epicenter of. Like, Robin has now been part of 3 Buster Calls. So I'm just picturing Robin at a bar somewhere, just drinking straight whiskey and just being like, no, vodka. I could see Robin drinking vodka. She's just there drinking straight vodka, and then she just hears the Buster Call siren in the distance, and she's just like, look, this shit again. All right, let's go. Robin, if Robin makes it out of this one, she needs to write a book. You know, this is how to survive a Buster Call. Because she's done it 3 times now, okay, if she makes it past this one, all right? Well, anyway, it seems like, yeah, Kizaru attacked Frankie, so he is on the side of Saturn, all right? And I saw a lot of people in the comments were like, well, maybe Kizaru is just pretending, maybe it's just a ploy, maybe he's actually going to betray Saturn, but he can't betray him right away, he has to pretend like he's still on his side, maybe it hasn't been completely, you know, settled yet. And when I did the review, I'm like, nah, I mean, like, maybe, but no, I'm thinking he just decided to pick he picked his side. But then I stopped for a moment, and I really did think about it, because the whole point of Kizaru is that he's kind of random as shit. Like, that's literally the point of Kizaru. You have, back when we had the 3 admirals, okay, the 3 original admirals in the story, right? We had Kuzan, or Aokiji, that subscribed to moral justice. It's like irony, like dramatic irony with each of their abilities, where you have Aokiji, who's the one that has the ice powers, so you'd think he would be the one that's the most frigid, but he's actually the one that's the kindest, okay, because he allowed Robin to escape from Ohara, and he does care about other people, and like he has empathy, and he's like, yeah, I know I'm a Marine and everything like that, but I don't want to do overtly evil stuff like wipe out an entire island of civilians, okay? So that's Aokiji. And then you have, on the exact opposite end of Aokiji, you have Akainu, you have Sakazuki, who is a subscriber of absolute justice, more specifically thorough justice, all right? And he has, you know, the ability to give off heat or warmth, but he's very cold-blooded. Yeah, you see where Oda's going with here? Very clever. You know, Akainu's the guy that, you know, you saw the evacuation ship leaving Ohara, and he was like, well, there could have been some scholars on board that ship that read the poneglyphs. We better make double sure. Attack the evacuation ship. And they did. Okay, so that's the kind of guy Akainu is. And even you know, Aokiji even said, like, you know, absolute justice can really make a man insane, you know? So there's that. And then right in the middle, you have Kizaru, who subscribes to unclear or uncertain justice. And you really don't know, like, the idea is that he can move at the speed of light, but he talks really slow. Also smokes a little something every now and then, okay? You know, so that's how it goes. By the way, we're talking about Kizaru. Whenever we make a Kizaru video, if you do partake in any particular weed substance, like, you're kind of required to, like, light it up at this point. So I'll give you a moment for that. All right, so Kizaru, I can kind of see it. It's really random. Honestly, Oda's very smart here, okay? You know, because, like, Fujitora could have went to the island. Actually, if Fujitora went to the island, I would know, right? Like, Fujitora wouldn't have played around. If Fujitora was on Egghead, maybe he would have followed the orders for a little bit, but as soon as Saturn went all, you know, as Saturn did that, Fujitora is changing sides. Fujitora is like, yeah, no, I'm not working for you anymore, okay? Green Bull would have loved it. I'm not sure. Green Bull would have probably been like, oh, man, the world government's ruled by a bunch of awesome spider demons? That's cool! You know, that would have been Green Bull, right? He probably would have liked it. Akainu, I'm not really sure how Akainu would have responded to that. Akainu would have probably been like, all right, I mean, I agree, we gotta crush the pirates. I think Akainu would have ended up, you know, siding with Saturn, but he wouldn't have agreed with, like, all right, I don't know what's up with this weird eldritch magic powers you guys have. This isn't really my thing. But I do agree we got to stomp out the pirates, but, you know, there's something with this I'm not really, you know, comfortable with the whole spider thing, right? You know, so that's how they would have gone. And Aokiji, if he was still an Admiral, I think he would have switched sides to Vegapunk, absolutely, okay? But then you have Kizaru, who's the one that could literally go both ways, and you can see, you know, both outcomes pretty viable, okay? It's not like, oh, there's no way Kizaru will switch sides, or there's no way he'll stay on the side of the government. Like, honestly, this is what makes it so tricky, because I can imagine both pretty logically, okay? Now, if Kizaru is staying on the side of the government, I mean, we got a lot of evidence for that in the last chapter. I mean, he kicked Frankie into a wall, and he even mentioned, like, Vegapunk was kind of chewing him out and just like, you know, Kizaru, do you have no heart? Do you have no soul, man? You're literally taking orders from a giant spider that just tried to kill a 12-year-old girl. Like, jeez, come on. And Kizaru's just like, I wish I would have packed darker sunglasses. You know, the idea is that he's beginning to tear up, or he's going to cry, or his eyes have become reddened with his sadness, you know? And that is something that Kizaru's had throughout this entire arc. Kizaru has mentioned many times, I don't want to do this. I really don't want to kill, you know, Vegapunk. I don't want to kill Sentomaru. But that's my orders. I gotta go with it, I suppose, right? But, like, listen to me, man. I don't think the admirals knew about the true forms of the Gorosei. All right, because that's something that I would imagine is kept very under wraps. And like I said, they don't even leave Marie-Joie very often. I mean, every once in a while, they like we saw Saturn at God Valley, so they do leave at least a couple of times. But, like, I don't think Kizaru knew about this. So, you know, I just can't get past the fact that Kizaru's there on the ground. He looks up, he sees one of the supreme rulers of the world, because Kizaru doesn't know about Eam, he just knows about the Gorosei. He sees one of the members of the Five Elders in this weird magic eldritch form, spider demon, crushing the life out of Bonnie, who is a child, and, like, is that not going to affect him at all? Because, yes, it does, like, oh, it is affecting him because he's crying. It's just like, oh, this makes it even more sad that I have to wipe you all out. It just doesn't click with me. It's just like, Kizaru should have at least, okay. But I can also see it from the side of, like, well, demons run the world government. All right, I always had a suspicion that they probably did. All right, I guess, hey, I signed up with the demons. I guess I'm fighting with the demons, right? That's just how it goes, okay? I can see that too, right? Now, all the things that happened in the last chapter, like he kicked Frankie into a building. You could always throw something out there where, like, Kizaru, you know, he pulled his kick. He didn't, like, you know, go full power. Also, Frankie is a cyborg. Maybe Kizaru was debunking, like, all right, okay, if I am going to switch sides, if I am going to go and fight for Vegapunk, okay, and help them escape, then I got to pretend like I'm still on Saturn's side, and I can't pull my punches. All right, like the first thing I do when I get up is I have to attack one of the Straw Hats. Like I have to take care of that, right? So maybe he was like, all right, I can either kick Blackleg Sanji or I could kick Side Frankie. And maybe Kizaru was thinking, all right, the cyborg guy probably has more endurance because he's a cyborg. So if I kick him into the side of a building, it probably won't kill him. All right. Oh, and you know what, though? Kizaru is so random, even this kind of makes sense. What if Kizaru is like, all right, I'm switching sides. I'm not fighting for the Gorosei. So I will help Vegapunk get away. But if I have to kill one of the Straw Hats along the way to make it look believable so we even can get away, Kizaru would be okay with that. Like, Kizaru, like it might not even be like, all right, I'm 100% loyal to the Gorosei and I'll fight on their side. Or I'm 100% loyal to Vegapunk and the Straw Hats and I'll fight on their side and be their ally. No, Kizaru might be looking out for more of just like, not self-interest, because he does want to save Vegapunk. Keep in mind, Kizaru has a connection to Vegapunk, Sentomaru. He doesn't have a connection, and Bonnie as well, and Kuma, but he doesn't have a connection to the Straw Hats. I mean, he fought the Straw Hats, but it's like, I don't think Kizaru is like, the Straw Hat pirates, you are my friends. I will make sure you make it to the next island. It is like, that doesn't seem like Kizaru. In fact, when Kizaru was fighting the Straw Hats at Sabaody and Rayleigh showed up, Rayleigh tried to, like, negotiate with Kizaru first. He was like, come on, Kizaru, can't you just let the kids, like, go, get to the next island? And Kizaru was like, oh, you know I can't do that, Rayleigh. I was given a job to do, you know? So Kizaru doesn't have, I mean, he might be fond of the Straw Hats in the sense of like, oh, you guys got really strong over the last couple of years. But he's not their best friend. It's just like, all right, if I have to kill Cyborg Frankie to get Saturn to drop his guard and trust me, so then I can get Sentomaru, Vegapunk, and Kuma and Bonnie out of here. I mean, sure, some of the other Straw Hats are going to help, but if that's what I got to do, that's what I got to do. It's Kizaru. He doesn't care about Frankie. Kizaru and Frankie are not like drinking buddies that are just like, all right, let's go out and drink, you know? And after this is over, let's say he does go on the side of Vegapunk and he wants Vegapunk to escape. After this is all over and they get away from Egghead, Kizaru's not going to be loyal to the Straw Hats. You know, Kizaru's not going to be like, I'll now sail with you until Laugh Tale. No, probably the most likely series of events would be they get to Elbaf and Vegapunk and Bonnie and Kuma and Kizaru just stay there. Or Kizaru goes off and does his own thing, right? I say all this to mean that I don't think Frankie is dead. Frankie is my favorite Straw Hat. He's not dead. I'm just saying that, like, I don't think Kizaru would give a shit if he did kill him. You know what I mean? It's just like, all right, I got to make Saturn. Okay, I'm switching sides, but I got to get Saturn to believe I'm on his side first to make it more believable. Because if maybe Kizaru is thinking, like, if I just get up immediately and then I immediately grab Vegapunk and get out of there, maybe Saturn will be on to me or something. Like, I got to wait for the right time to make this work, okay? And if I have to kick a Straw Hat or two into the ocean, it's whatever, I got to do it, okay? So it might even be something like that. His personality is so eclectic, you could see it, all right, from a bunch of different directions. I was thinking too simple with just the side with Vegapunk 100% or side with the Gorosei 100%, right? Now, I'm going to be doing a separate video on analyzing Saturn's endurance, as it were, because we see him take a lot of damage. But also, it's like, I don't think there's anything Kizaru could really do to, you know, kill Saturn. You know, he could unleash a barrage of lasers to distract him or knock him back, or, you know, maybe Kizaru could just, like, stay behind while, you know, he's fighting Saturn to, like, because from what we've seen with Saturn, his abilities seem to be like he can freeze people in place. He can blow up people's heads, but that seems to be people that are much weaker weaker. You know, like normal civilians or normal Marines, he can like just, you know, kablamo their head whenever he wants, okay? Other people he can like lock in place, all right? And that even seems to be the case with really strong people like Sanji and Frankie. He can lock in place. The thing is with Kizaru, though, that might not work. Kizaru can make clones. We're going to get back to that in a second. Kizaru can make clones. So I could see a thing where if Kizaru does turn on Saturn, is like, you know, Vegapunk, get away from the island. I will fight Saturn. You know, Saturn is like, Kizaru, you know, you have betrayed us. And he uses his power to freeze Kizaru, but it's just a clone, like a light clone. And then the real Kizaru launches an attack from the sky, drops like a satellite laser cannon, just boom. And Kizaru's like, you guys should leave, you know, like something like that. Kizaru could definitely buy some time, because what we've seen with Saturn, like, he has like a human level endurance. Like if you stab him, the blade will go through. It's not like his skin is made of adamantium or something and the knife snaps off and attacks just like bounce off of his bodies. He takes damage and then he has to heal. And that takes time, okay? So there's a lot of stuff to learn about exactly how that works, but I think Kizaru could definitely, if he spawns a bunch of clones and just unloads like a barrage of laser beams on Saturn, that would at least, you know, buy a little bit of time for Vegapunk and everybody to get the hell out of there. Now, going back to the cloning thing, so we have Luffy, who was on the ground, who was eating a bunch of food. So somehow Luffy got a bunch of food, and then he disappeared, okay? Now, originally, I said this was Kizaru, because Kizaru was like, that was before Kizaru got back up, and I'm like, all right, well, maybe Kizaru changed his mind. Then, after Kizaru got up, I'm thinking, all right, if Kizaru, all right, it's sort of, this is kind of more like two choices here. It's like, if Kizaru really is on the side of the world government, he never changed his mind whatsoever, and he's loyal to them, then it was probably somebody else. It was like, it had to have been somebody else. I don't see Kizaru helping Luffy and then being like, well, I'm still going to fight for the government, you know, whatever. Now, if he really is, if he's just, you know, doing some kind of subterfuge, then maybe he did, okay? And in that situation, you can imagine Kizaru, like, making a clone or zipping over there to feed Luffy and then using his light powers to, like, make people invisible. That's a thing we've never seen him do. But I feel like he could do that, right? Like, he has the power of the light fruit, the Pika Pika no Mi. He should be able to turn invisible, right? Like, anybody that studied physics, right? If you have complete dominance, if you could turn your body into light, every time he turns into light, it's very yellow. It's very, like, you know, super bright yellow light. But, like, he should be able to, like, turn into different colors. He should be able to make, like, different colors on the spectrum. He should be able to go invisible. You know, like, that shouldn't be something that's ridiculous for him to accomplish, right? Okay, so maybe there's something like that. The other option is it could have been Caribou. Caribou could have fed Luffy and then, you know, sucked him into the swamp. Because the thing is, whatever happened with Luffy had to happen very quick, because the Marines were, like, seeing him eat food, and Saturn was like, you know, restrain him. And then the Marines were like, okay, we'll go restrain him. Where did he go? Like, it happened super fast. So it's like the Marines went over to go restrain him. They looked away for 2 seconds, and Luffy was just gone. So either light speed shenanigans had to have been going on here, or Caribou was lurking in the wings and used his swamp powers to, like, suck him in and just, you know, and that could have worked. Why would Caribou do that? I don't know what Caribou's thinking. I don't want to know what Caribou's thinking, to be honest. He could be working for Morgan's. He could be working for Blackbeard. Oh, I saw some people bring up, remember, and this is something that I always forget. I think a lot of people forget because it was like one panel. Blackbeard's ship is at Egghead. That's a thing. Blackbeard's ship, so probably Lafitte and Devon, the two that were unaccounted for, all the other times we've seen the Blackbeard pirates, are there. It could have been Lafitte. It could have been Devon. Maybe Devon is there right now, but she's pretending to be one of the vice admirals. That would actually make a lot of sense. If, like, one of the vice admirals was Devon in disguise and she was just mixing in with the crowd somewhere. Oh, please don't. Oh, no, please don't turn out to be Doll. Please don't turn out to be Doll. Oh, no, that would be horrible. Oda, you son of a gun, if you pull that. If it's just like all the vice admirals are there observing the battle, and then Doll is giving orders, and she walks away, and then her body transforms into Davon, and then, like, the real Doll is dead. I'm like, no, Oda, damn you! It could be anybody else. It could be Vice Admiral Beardsley. It could be Bluegrass. It could be anyone else, but please don't make it be Doll. Doll needs to stay in this story. I'm making a whole video about her. I'm just saying right now, that's happening. I don't know when, but it's gonna happen, all right? So, you know, Kizaru, you know, is like, oh, I'm going to help the Straw Hat Kid because I think we're going to need his help to get the hell out of here. You know, something like that. I could see him doing that, okay? Oh, my goodness. Kizaru, man. Kizaru, I mean, hey, this is actually not bad writing in terms of Oda. This is actually pretty clever because if it was, like I said, any other Admiral, I could see where this is going. With Fujitora, with Green Bull, with Akainu, with Aokiji, I would make a decision right away and be very confident in that decision of they're staying on the side of the world government or they're fighting with Vegapunk. And it would make sense. Fujitora, 100% would fight on Vegapunk's side, okay? But with Kizaru, he's the one. He's the one Admiral that the scales are just shifting back and forth. Where is it going to land? I don't know, but that's what it is, okay? Now, if he, let's say he doesn't stay behind, let's say he actually helps them escape. That's another thing, too. Like, if Kizaru is on the side of the government, how the hell are the Straw Hats going to get away? Even if the Straw Hats get back to the Labo phase, get onto the Sunny, and rocket away from Egghead, Kizaru can move at the speed of damn light. He can move fast enough to, like, oh, it seems the Straw Hats have escaped Egghead. I gotta go get them now. Zip. You know, and it's just like, if he's, like, loyal and he wants to destroy the... Yeah, he could easily destroy the Sunny, or, well, maybe not easily destroy the Sunny if the Straw Hats are on it to protect it. But, like, they're not going to get away. They could fly a kilometer away using Kude Burst, but Kizaru is there in less than a second. He'd be like, did you think you could get away from me? It's like, no, I guess Luffy could punch him out again and he loses consciousness again. But then he just gets back up eventually and zips right back over to them. Let's say that happens. Let's say Luffy is like, oh, you never quit, do you? Gear 5th, Star Gun. Psst, ooh, I've lost consciousness again. 5 minutes later, he gets up. He's like, oh, man, they're like 10 miles away now. Hey, guys. he's like, you're not going to get away from him. He can move super freaking fast. How are you going to escape from him? So it's like, with that being said, unless, like, you know, unless something else happens where Kizaru is detained, like one of the Blackbeard pilots, like Lafitte shows up to fight him or something, and it turns out Lafitte is really powerful. Turns out Lafitte has the Angel Zone, and he fights Kizaru, or something else that deters him, or he does indeed switch sides and helps Vegapunk escape. You know, like that makes the most sense, because otherwise, with Kizaru on the side of the government, I just don't see them getting away without Kizaru following them. All right? It's gonna happen. And Kizaru's not going to die. It's not going to be like, well, I guess we got to kill Kizaru. I don't see that happening. All right? I could see, with all the crazy powers Saturn has, I could see Saturn having the ability to kill Kizaru somehow. You know what I mean? Like, he has some power we haven't seen yet. I don't even know if Saturn has utilized his full strength yet. He's like, this is only 20% of my total demonic power. You know, it could be something like that, right? In which case, maybe he could kill Kizaru. If Kizaru rebelled enough and it pissed off Saturn enough, maybe he could go all super crazy demon on him and attack. Who knows? But other than Saturn, I don't see any other character that could just straight up kill Kizaru. I don't think Luffy doesn't really kill characters. I don't see Egghead ending with Luffy killing Kizaru so they can escape, all right? Zoro, maybe. It would be cool to see Zoro slice Kizaru in half, but I don't think that's going to happen. Oh, yeah, what's going on with Zoro right now? Zoro's still fighting Lucci. Wouldn't it be so funny if Zoro and Lucci were having this high-octane battle up in the Labo phase, and they're like, this is a battle that's so epic. They'll be talking about this till the end of the century, and it's like we're not even focusing on it. We cut back to Zoro and Lucci, and they're just having a break. They're just drinking some Gatorade on the side of just like, oh, hey, Luffy, how you doing? Hey, Vegapunk, how's it been? It's like, we got to get out of here, Zoro. Are you fighting Lucci? Yeah, we were fighting for a little while, but we're taking a break right now. There's, like, towels around their necks. They're just, like, wiping the sweat off their brow. It's like, yeah, we're going to go back into round 4 really quick here. Are we leaving? Okay. Well, it was nice fighting you, leopard man, as it was you. Maybe. I don't know. All right. Well, that's the video. Take it or leave it of whatever you think Kizaru is going to do next. This will be Tekking 101 in a cowboy hat, signing out. Later, all.